Radha Marva Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Marva Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamnatira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sri Sri Radha Madhava Ki. Jai Nitya Lila Vishnu Prabhupada Divine Grace Sila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sila Prabhupada Ki. Ananda Gauri Vaishnavrinda Ki. Sadgo Swami Prabhu Ki. Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki. Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Dham Ki. Bolo Sri Sri Krishna Baldao Ki. Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So it's a great honor to be back here in New Dwarka after a long time and be at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Gaur-Nitai, Rukmini Dwarkadish, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, to be at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada with all the residents of New Dwarka Dham. So many memories keep coming, just like these, the little Radha and Krishna, they were the first Radha and Krishna that we ever worshipped. Because in the beginning there was just little Radha Krishna. We had Gaur-Nitai and well, we didn't have Gaur-Nitai. We had a big painting of Panchatattva, and then there was a big shelf on top of Panchatattva, just like we copied the San Francisco temple. There was Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra up top. And then my dear godbrother Narayan, he made this wonderful Vyasa-sam. This is the first Vyasa-sam with a big umbrella over everything. Prabhupada just took one look. He said, I'm not qualified to sit here. He began to cry. He said, only on behalf of my spiritual master I can sit here. So we had this beautiful little throne for Radha and Krishna. And somebody got the idea, since they're small, they made chapatis this big, and they had little plates, you know, and a little cup of water like this. And somebody speculated, and Prabhupada came and he found out about this. He said, Krishna, he was just a tiny little boy, but Mother Yasoda saw the whole universe. He's like a man, not like this. You're starving him. Should be man-sized portions. Hare Krishna. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, also tonight is our last talk. We'll have a talk here in the temple room here after Artik from 7 to 8. So you're all invited to come for that. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27, verse number 27, Understanding Material Nature. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yadaivam adhyātma-rataḥ kālena bahu-janmanā sarvatra jāta-vairāgya ā-brahma-bhuvanān muniḥ yadaivam adhyātma-rataḥ kālena bahu-janmanā sarvatra jāta-vairāgya ā-brahma-bhuvanān muniḥ yadaivam adhyātma-rataḥ kālena bahu-janmanā sarvatra jāta-vairāgya ā-brahma-bhuvanān muniḥ. Ladies? Yadā, when, evam, thus, adhyātma-rataḥ, engaged in self-realization, kālena, for many years, bahu-janmanā, for many births, sarvatra, everywhere, jāta-vairāgya, detachment is born. Ā-brahma-bhuvanāt, up to Brahmaloka. Muniḥ, a thoughtful person. Translation: when a person thus engages in devotional service and self-realization for many, many years and births, he becomes completely reluctant to enjoy any one of the material planets, even up to the highest planet, which is known as Brahmaloka. He becomes fully developed in consciousness. So translation, please repeat. When a person thus engages in devotional service and self-realization for many, many years and births, he becomes reluctant to enjoy any one of the material planets, even up to the highest planet, which is known as Brahmaloka. He becomes fully developed in consciousness. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Anyone engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as a devotee. But there is a distinction between pure devotees and mixed devotees. A mixed devotee engages in devotional service for the for the spiritual benefit of being eternally engaged in transcendental abode of the Lord in full bliss and knowledge. Oh, I missed something. A mixed devotee engages in devotional service for the spiritual benefit of being eternally engaged. That's something. One sentence is missing, I guess. A pure devotee engages in devotional service for the spiritual benefit of being eternally engaged in the transcendental abode of the Lord in full bliss and knowledge. In material existence, when a devotee is not completely purified, he expects material benefit from the Lord in the form of relief from material miseries, or wants material gain, advancement in knowledge of the relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity, or knowledge as to the real nature of the Supreme Lord. When a person is transcendental to these conditions, he is called a pure devotee. He does not engage himself in the service of the Lord for any material benefit or for understanding of the Supreme Lord. His one interest is that he loves the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he spontaneously engages in satisfying him. The highest example of pure devotional service is that of the gopis in Vrindavan. They are not interested in understanding Krishna, but only in loving him. That platform of love is a pure state of devotional service. Unless one is advanced to this pure state of devotional service, there is a tendency to desire elevation to the higher material position, to a higher material position. A mixed devotee may desire to enjoy a comfortable life on another planet with a greater span of life, such as Brahmaloka. There are many material desires, but because a mixed devotee engages in the service of the Lord, ultimately, after many, many lives of material enjoyment, he undoubtedly develops Krishna consciousness. And the symptom of this Krishna consciousness is that he is no longer interested in any sort of material elevated life. He does not even aspire to become a personality like Lord Brahma. Yadaivam adhyātma-rataḥ, kālena bahu-janmanā, sarvatra jāta-vairāgya, ā-brahma-bhuvanān muniḥ. When a person thus engages in devotional service and self-realization for many, many years and births, he becomes completely reluctant to enjoy any one of the material planets, even up to the highest planet, which is known as Brahmaloka. He becomes fully developed in consciousness. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya-manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantayam Adadana-srinandantai Ridam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padambujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So this is a wonderful thing about Srimad Bhagavatam, that sometimes we meet our old friend Bhagavad Gita. As soon as we read this verse, then we're immediately reminded of that nice verse in Bhagavad Gita. ā-brahma-bhuvanāt loka punar-janma vidyate. Krishna declares that even if you go up to Brahmaloka, still, punar-janma vidyate. Punar, we know, means again. Punar-janma, and janma we know, like Janmastami. We'll get again birth, we'll get again birth. And then also reminds us of that other verse of Bhagavad Gita, bahu-janmanā ante jnānavan. After many births, when one's actually wise, then he surrenders unto Krishna. Oh, Vasudeva Sarvatra. Oh, Krishna is everything. So this is just like meeting our old friend Bhagavad Gita. Just like you're walking down the street and suddenly you see some old friend that you haven't seen for a long time. You feel so happy. So we feel so happy. Suddenly we're seeing our old friend Bhagavad Gita in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And here it's describing that by engaging in devotional service, one eventually purifies one's heart. Even Bhagavatam says it, whether, what is that verse? Whether you're purified, unpurified, you moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti. Whatever you have so many material desires, you don't have any material desires, you desire liberation, whatever it is, you just worship. Tivrena bhakti yoga. Because even though we may have material desires in the beginning, by performing devotional service to Krishna, gradually he purifies all of our material desires. And we have seen so many examples. Just like the favorite example is Dhruva Maharaj. He had great big material desire. But by the end, just like this pastime happened in Vrindavan. Because Narad Muni, we're getting too far ahead anyway. But there's a very beautiful place. It's probably one of the closest forests to our temple, outside of, because in Vrindavan there's 12 forests, and this is one of the closest ones, Madhuban. And there's a beautiful temple on top of a hill called Dhruv Tila. Tila means hill. So on top of the hill there's the place where Dhruva Maharaj performs the austerities. Because way in the beginning of the universe there was one fellow named Uttanapada, who was a very great king. And as is a nature and permitted for Kshatriyas, he had more than one wife. But as is the nature of this material world, he became too attached to the younger wife. So from his first wife, Suniti, he had a very beautiful son named Dhruva Maharaj. And from his other wife's name was Suruchi. From Suruchi, he had a son named Uttama. And as the nature of the material world, he became more attached to the younger wife. And one time, Uttam was sitting on the lap of Uttanapada, his father, and Dhruva Maharaj, he also wanted to climb there. So he tried to climb up, and his stepmother Suruchi said, "Are, you have no adhikar, what do you say? Claim to climb there. Maybe if by the grace of the Lord you take birth from my womb, you can go there." So he was a young Kshatriya boy, so immediately his blood began to boil because he could understand the purport behind these words, that she was going to use her influence to make sure that her son became the next king. Because the parampara is that the oldest son becomes the king, but because she had more control over him, she was going to make her son the king. So his Kshatriya blood began to boil. And he immediately ran to his mother. And he said, "Oh, Mata, Mata," he told the story. And Mother Suniti said, "What can I do? Your father's more attached to the younger wife. Nothing I can do. Only God can help you. Only Bhagavan, he can help you." So Dhruva Maharaj said, "All right, where is this Bhagavan?" So in one lecture, Prabhupada says, she was a simple woman. He says, "I don't know, but all the rishis and munis, they go to the forest. So it may be that Bhagavan, he lives in the forest." Because all the sadhus and rishis, they go to the forest for self-realization, to find out Bhagavan. So Dhruva Maharaj said, "All right, I'm going to the forest and find out this Bhagavan. And I will ask him for a kingdom greater than my great-grandfather." Now his father was Uttanapada, whose father was, which one? Swayambhu, yeah, Swayambhuva Manu. And his father, of course, is Lord Brahma. So Brahma's kingdom is the whole universe. He wanted a kingdom greater than that. Just imagine, we're talking about mixed devotion. He wanted a kingdom even greater than Lord Brahma had, which is the whole universe. So he took off for the forest. And Prabhupada explains that Krishna, when he sees someone trying to find out God, then he tries to help him. He sends a spiritual master. So he sent Narad Muni, go find out what this boy wants. So then, on the way, he met Narad Muni, and Narad Muni said, "Oh, Dhruva, you're used to a nice princely life, sleeping in a nice soft bed with nice soft pillow, eating paneer sabji and puris and sweet rice and halava. In the forest, you only get dry leaves to sleep on. You only get berries that just the monkeys eat. Better you go back home and do your Krishna consciousness at home." Just like especially in India, when some young boy joins the temple, then immediately the mother and father come. And the mother is crying, "But you can do your Krishna consciousness at home. Why do you have to live in the ashram?" So he said, "Better you go home and do your Krishna consciousness." Because Prabhupada said the business of the spiritual master is first to test the disciple. He's very serious. So Dhruva Maharaj said, "My dear sir, if you can tell me how to find out Bhagavan, then you speak. Otherwise, chup, you be quiet." So Narad Muni saw this fellow is very determined. So he told him that you go to Madhuvan, where the beautiful waters of Kalindi are flowing. Suchi, he says, clean waters. Now if you see Jamuna, you'll cry. It's getting a little bit better, but we still have a lot of work to do. He says, Jamana Suchi, the water is very clean. You go to that Madhuvan. And what else did he say about that place? That always one going there, one comes close to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the purport, Prabhupada explains that unless one is advanced in devotional service, then he should go to a holy place like Haridwar, Rishikesh, Mayapur, or Vrindavan and perform his devotional service there. But if one is very advanced like Narad Muni, he can go anywhere in the world and preach Krishna consciousness. So then when I read this purport, I understood why I stay in Vrindavan, because I'm too fallen to make it anywhere else. And he said that very easy to get in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in that forest. Because sometimes people challenge, what's so special about Vrindavan? God is everywhere. So why Vrindavan is so special? So I always say, well, just like water. Water is everywhere. But if you go to Jaipur, then you have to drill 300 meters into the ground to get water. Water is everywhere, but in Jaipur. And if you go to Bengal, it's like my friend here's from Bengal, 3 or 4 feet and you get water. So water is everywhere, but some easily gotten, some place very difficult to get. So Vrindavan is a very special place where it's easy to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like one time, our head pujari, Mukunda Datta, he went to Europe, preaching tour. Somehow he came to Italy. He got audience with the Pope. So he was sitting there with the Pope, and he noticed that there was a solid gold telephone there, if you remember those things. Long before we had cell phones, we had these telephones. It was a solid gold. And Mukunda Datta said, the Pope saw that Mukunda Datta was looking. He said, yes, it's direct line. Do you want to call? He said, no, that's all right. No, you go ahead, call. No, that's all right. He said, no, call. So he picked up the phone and he was talking, are the offerings are going on nicely, everything's clean. He was very happy. So then he said, how much is it? He said, no, you don't worry about it. No, I can't come here as a guest and use your phone and not pay. No, that's all right. No, I can't. I'm just, how could I use your phone and not pay? It's all right, $322. So he paid him. So then the Pope one day, he came to Delhi. And then he remembered that there's this fellow named Mukunda Datta, and he lives just 90 miles south of here in a place called Vrindavan. So he went there to Vrindavan, he met Mukunda Datta, and Mukunda Datta took him up to his office. And they were talking, and he saw there's this solid gold telephone here also. So you have one? Two? He said, yes. You want to make a call? He said, no, that's all right. No, go ahead, go and call. So the Pope picked up the phone. He said, I don't know what to do. These Hare Krishnas are buying our churches and turning them into temples, you know. I don't know what to do. Just like this was also a Christian church and we turned it into a beautiful temple. So he said, how much? He said, don't bother. Don't even worry about it. It's nothing. No, I can't come here and use your phone and not pay. That's nothing. No. I have to pay. So how much is it? He said, 2 rupees. 2 rupees? Yes, local call. So he told him, you go to Madhavan, where it's very easily to come in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then he started off for Madhavan. Now one time, way back in, I joined Vrindavan Temple in 1984, and very soon after that, 1989, there was Kumbh Mela. Just like this year again, next year, again is coming Kumbh Mela. You can go on the ISKCONVrindavan.com website and make your reservations to come there. A very amazing event. You'll never see anything like it in your life. So, in 1989, somebody had put up rear projection screens. And now, of course, we have digital screens and everything, but you may remember movie cameras, and it would project onto the screen from rear instead of on the front. It was and they had these big, all over the Kumbh Mela, 15 feet by 15 feet, these big rear projection screens, and they were showing all dharmic films like Ramayana and Mahabharata and Turning of the Ocean of Milk. So one day I was walking around the Kumbh Mela, and they were showing the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, because this part's not found in Bhagavatam, but somewhere they found it in the Puranas, so they had this story. So Dhruva Maharaj went off to the forest, and Maharaj Uttanapada, he found out. So immediately he began to get ready to go after his son and bring him home. And Suruchi, she saw that her husband was going to leave. He told her, I have to go and bring him back. And Prabhupada said, the secret weapon of the woman is tears. So she began to cry. Oh, you're going away to the forest and leaving me here. So he was trapped. He couldn't go. Then the next scene came, Swayambhuva Manu came, his father. So immediately he bowed before, Pita Sri, welcome, please come. And so then his father asked him, is everyone in your kingdom happy? Because to different types of people we ask different questions. To a Brahmin, we'll ask him whether his yajna is going on, his penance is going on, his study is going on nicely. To Kshatriya, we'll ask whether his citizens are satisfied. To a Vaishya, we'll ask, business is going nicely, customers are coming, To a Sudra, we'll say, your service is doing nicely. So he said, all your citizens are satisfied? He said, oh, Pita Sri, by your mercy, all my citizens are very happy in this kingdom. He said, yes? And Dhruva and Suniti, they're not your citizens? They're not your citizens? Are they happy? Tell me. And then he said, Kisi chotisi ki nari ki sundarta ke liye anyay ho raha hai. Only way I could translate that is just because of the beauty of some little chick, this injustice is going on, anyay is going on. Very intense scene, very, just because of the beauty of some little chick, this injustice is going on. And then bing, some company was doing it, so their advertisement came up right at that point. Fair and lovely, ding, 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 ding. They were advertising some beauty soap. I just fell in the sand. Because in Kumbh Mela, there's just sand and sky and sun. And between these three things, all of a sudden, this huge city bigger than New York appears on the plains of the Ganga and Jamuna. So I was just rolling on the sand laughing. Right at that point, most intense point, you know, fair and lovely. So anyway, Dhruva Maharaj went off to Madhuvan. And Nard Muni gave him very beautiful mantra we chant every day, you know. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So he was sitting there, or not sitting, he was standing on one leg. He was performing very heavy austerities. And he was only eating every 3 days. He decided for the first month he would only eat every 3 days. Just imagine we invite you for Prikam Vrindavan, but we're only going to feed you for every third day. So after a while, after 1 month went by, he thought, wow, I'm such a sense enjoyer, eating every 3 days, my goodness. So he began to eat every 6 days. Then after another month, he said, I'm really enjoying like a sense enjoyer. So next month, he decided, I will just take water every 9 days. Then after that month went, at fourth month, he said, I'll just take water every 12 days. Or no, he decided I would only take breath every 12 days. Then on the fifth month, he decided, all right, I'm going to stop breathing altogether. But by this time, it's described in Bhagavatam that, because if you're standing on one leg, sometimes you'll wobble. But instead of him wobbling, the whole earth was trembling, because gradually he was becoming identified with the whole universe, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the whole universe. And the whole earth was shaking underneath him as he wobbled. So when he decided to stop breathing, he stopped the whole universal breathing. Then all the demigods, they ran to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, he started the universal breathing again. And they all said, look, you got to do something about this guy, you know. He just stopped the whole universal breathing. And Lord told him, don't worry. So then, Dhruva Maharaj, he was there meditating, standing on one leg and meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart. And suddenly the form of the Lord within his heart disappeared. And he began to try and see him again. He couldn't see the Lord in his heart. Then he opened his eyes, he saw the Lord is standing right there in front of him. And he's just a little boy. How will he offer prayers to the Lord? He doesn't know. The Lord took his conch shell and touched him on the head. And he began to offer so many beautiful prayers. You can read them in Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. So many beautiful prayers to the Lord. And then the Lord said, my dear Dhruva, whatever benediction you want, you can take. He said, no, I don't want anything. Are? You left your kingly palace, you came in the forest, performed so many heavy penances and austerities, and now you say you don't want anything? And Dhruva Maharaj said, Swami Kritartosmi. I don't know which Puran this verse is, but Prabhupada always quotes it. Swami Kritartosmi. Oh, my dear Lord, I'm fully satisfied. When you hear Prabhupada say that, fully satisfied, then you know what full satisfaction is. I'm fully satisfied. I don't want anything. Well, what is the reason for that? He said, I came looking for broken pieces of glass. What is he calling broken pieces? He wanted a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. He's calling that broken pieces of glass. Just like here, people drink and they throw their beer bottles and there's glass all over the side of the street. Nobody cares for it, you know. So he says his material desire is a broken piece of glass. So what are our material desires? They don't rate at all, and we're still chasing after all these material desires. He says a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma is a broken piece of glass. But if you just see some broken piece of glass and suddenly you find a diamond, then how amazed you will be. He said, I was looking for broken pieces of glass, but I've got a rare jewel like you. What is the use of kingdom or anything in this material world? Just by worshiping the Lord, those material desires, that's what we're reading here, became purified out of his heart. He says, Swami Gatartos me, Baram Yache, I will not ask any benediction. And the Lord said, oh, come on, Dhruva, you take something. He says, look, he says, no, I don't want anything. The Lord said, I will give you a kingdom. I will give you a Vaikuntha planet. This Dhruvalok, when you go in the night and you look at, which way is north? I think maybe this way, huh? You look in the north, then you can see the pole star, all the other stars. If you put your camera on open shutter, you know, then you'll see all the stars going around, but that Dhruv star is right there in the center. It doesn't move. So Prabhupada said, this is a Vaikuntha planet within his universe, because he wanted a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. So the only thing greater than this, than the whole universe, is the spiritual universe, Vaikuntha. So Lord told, you will go back. Don't worry, everyone will be happy. Even Suniti and Uttam will be happy with you. Everyone will be happy with you because you've become a Vaishnava. And you will live for thousands of years in ruling the kingdom. And then after that, you will go to Dhruva-loka, Vaikuntha planet. You will stay there eternally in this Vaikuntha planet. Even when this material world is destroyed, that planet will remain. So Dhruva-loka is there in the northern sky. Dhruva Maharaj is there. And Lord Krishna Lord Vishnu is being his doorman there. He's the Darwan, the doorman, gatekeeper, security officer, chokidar. So this is one of the stories that shows the proof that even if one desires something greater than the whole universe, still by worshiping Krishna, that desire will become gradually purified from our heart. So, it's 8:30, so I think it's time, huh? We should put our voice to rest here. If there's any questions, we'll try to answer them. Where's Bhakta Mike?
Hare Krishna. According with this verse, look like is needed many lifetimes to attain Krishna. This is plain purport. But what is take to do in one lifetime? Can you explain?
Well, Prabhupada told us that he said only by great fortune. Like we read in Bhagavad Gita also, I quoted the verse, bahu-janmanā, after many, many births. Therefore Prabhupada said, only by great fortune one was able to become a pure devotee or come in contact with a pure devotee. This pure devotee can give you Krishna. He said, but we were simple, we didn't do anything, pious activities or austerities, we didn't do anything. He said, yes, because I have created your fortune. I have created your fortune. Now you create fortune for others, just like we're in this, the Prabhupada Marathon is going on. We have opportunity to distribute books and create fortune. They didn't even, without going, if one comes to the same position, oh, Krishna is everything. One accepts, just like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does some of them just by hearing from authorities. If one is fortunate to run into a pure devotee and hear his teachings, then immediately comes to that, oh, Vasudev Sarvati, Krishna is everything, let me surrender to him. So I was here, I remember sitting, and I don't think it was the other one, I think it was here. And Prabhupada looked at all of us, he said, you just chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regular principles, and you will go back to home, back to Godhead. I guarantee it. And all the boys went Jai. And Prabhupada the second time said, I guarantee it. One time in Melbourne, I guess it was, in previous temple, they had a big tall Vyasa-san. So Prabhupada went up, he climbed up and sat down, he gave the class. And it was one of those heavy classes that if you have a pinch of material desire, you will not go back to home, back to Godhead. You will stay here and suffer. And all the devotees went, no hope, hopeless. So at the end of the class, Prabhupada got up, he saw the hopeless faces. He took one step down. He said, even if you're 90% Krishna conscious, you will go back to home, back to Godhead. And the devotees went jai. Prabhupada took another step down. He said, even 80% Krishna conscious, you will go back to home, back to Godhead. And all the devotees went jai. And the Prabhupada took another step down. He said 75%, but no less. So the process is guaranteed, and we're getting 25% discount. Yes, Brigavati.
You mentioned in the early part of the class how Dhruva could understand that his stepmother, Suruchi, had a plan to usurp his right to the throne.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, was that your own insight? Or I'm not trying to challenge it in any way. I was just wondering if that was something, your own insight, or did you hear that from a commentary from one of the acharyas? Because I don't remember hearing Prabhupada directly say that, but it makes sense. I just was kind of curious to know the origin of that.
Well, the story goes on that he immediately went to his mother because he was crying because he wasn't going to become the king, so he understood. He was Kshatriya. In Kshatriya they're diplomats, so nobody ever speaks straight, You have to, when you deal with politicians, and you have to, if a politician says yes, he's, he'll say, if he says yes, he means maybe. If he says maybe, he means no. If he says no, he's no politician. So he understood. That Kshatriya blood began to boil. Any other questions? So we'll again come back here this evening, and you can, we'll relish some more Krishna Katha. And again, if you want to relish some nice Krishna Katha, we have on Amazon you can get our latest book. We've already explained all about it. It's too heavy for us to carry many, and we stopped through Singapore on the way here. That's why I have hair. Usually I don't have this much hair. Can't wait to get rid of it. But Singapore is the one place where even Prabhupada, they didn't allow Prabhupada to come, so we had to go in karmi clothes and keep a little bit of hair and not look like a devotee, hide our neck beads. So, but you can get a copy on Amazon. Just look for Braj Leela. So we'll all fall down at the most soft and wonderful lotus feet of that great personality of Godhead who's taking us back to Godhead with a guaranteed process and 25% discount. Srila Prabhupada ki!
Thank you.